Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I'm talking about dancing bears, insect-based novel pet food ingredients, and sharing some good news. So stay right there.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sam. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We are a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. In studio with me today is Jim.
Good morning, everybody.
And we have Miss Thornton, Mr. Twix, who just drank all of my water prior to the show. And
How do you do that?
he jumped up on your chair in the studio and made his way over to my desk. So I like to stay hydrated during the show. Well, I
So
try.
does he.
I try. Exactly, I try. And then we have Miss Galaxy looking down on us. Make sure we always give you a great show every single week. And gosh, there was so much to jam into the show today that I couldn't jam it all in. So hopefully we will add that in on the very last show of the year. I cannot believe we are in our 5th year of this show. It's amazing. I've looked back this year on the guests that we've had, the stories, the progress, that's been made in the animal world. It's unbelievable, actually. It's really, really unbelievable. And it's not till you look at it collectively that you realize, wow, we have some amazing people doing things on behalf of animals in this world that we live in. So next week will be the recap show, and hopefully I'll be able to pull out some little sound bites, some fun things from the show, things that were quite profound. We have become friends with all of our guests, and that's kind of how it goes, really, which means I have an array of friends who are absolute experts in their field, which is wonderful because I get to reach out to them for certain topics and say, hey, what do you think about that? Or have you read about this? What do it's great. It's great. It's a library of information just through our new guests that we had this year, and we are well booked for next year. Lots of people want to come on the show. I have to tell them, send the EPK in for a review. We don't have spots right now because we've just got this incredible list of people coming on the show. But if something opens up and you're a good fit, then we give you a call back. And the easiest way to get hold of us is just straight through our website. Just straight through the website and get on the list. And I think people are always a bit surprised when they hear that we're booked up way ahead of time. But more and more great people are coming on the scene, doing great things. And we also like to do the updates too. In fact, we should do some of those next week, probably. Follow up on some of the stories and some of the great people that we have met along the way. Well, if you are new to the show, thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled about that. And if you're one of our regulars, we're glad you're here also, sticking with us week after week as we bring you more and more information, great stories, and wonderful people. And just all to collectively helps you be a great pet parent and helps you stay informed yourself of what's going on in the animal world. And there's a lot going on. If you want to find us elsewhere on the internet, you can go to our website, vegasrockdogradio.com. And you'll find us on Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. Our I sounded like a robot. I think that was just me having a dry throat. Our blog is therockandrolldog.com. We tell you who's coming on the show, who's been on the show, and tutorials and fun things and product recommendations, you name it, we put it on there for you. We do have an app, and the app is part of yap.us, yapp.us. It's free. Download the free app and then download Vegas Rock Talk Radio onto your app. Finally, if you missed the live show, then you can catch us in all the old places. iTunes, iHeart Radio, Spoke by SiriusXM, and every other podcast app that you may have on your phone. You will find us, and we're constantly adding. If you're someone who loves your Amazon Alexa, you're going to find us on there as well. If you've got Sonos, you're going to find us on there also. So we're getting around a little bit, aren't we? We're getting around a little bit.
Many places.
Well, got lots of information for you, some great updates, some good news, and that's always a good thing when we've got good news. And it is the Christmas week, and Hanukkah is now is Hanukkah finished?
I think it's over.
It's over now.
But I don't know.
Lots of people celebrate
I think it changes. Hanukkah date.
It does change. Hanukkah date does change each year. Which we were laughing about that last week, weren't we? About a friend of ours who is Jewish, and when she became friends with Frankie Moreno, which is the show that Jim plays it in Frankie Moreno's show, and he plays in the show, and they became friends and started to invite Melissa over and said, you know, you're gonna come over for Christmas, and she said, when is that? What day is that?
What date is it?
And they clearly they didn't know she was Jewish, but secondly, how come you don't know that Christmas Day is on blah blah blah? But it's because
Hanukkah dates change.
It's because Hanukkah dates change. It's a little bit like the Thanksgiving date. I could not understand. Save that for the life of me. Why is it changing?
Because it's always on a Thursday.
I know, it's so irritating. Pick a date.
It's not your holiday anyhow.
It's not.
It is now because you're an American.
I'm still English. Well, so lots of people are celebrating this week. Big run up to Christmas. We'll be spending Christmas Eve with our good friends Kat and Todd. I'm very excited about that. I will be making English trifle and maybe a Guinness cake. Maybe, if I have all the ingredients. It's a celebration, isn't it, when you go into your pantry and you realize you have all the ingredients for a recipe without having to go to the store. I'm hoping I get to have that reaction when I open the pantry door tomorrow.
I just go there to look for a snack.
I know.
And I'm happy if there's a snack there.
So Christmas is on, when is Christmas? Monday. It's all come up rather fast. And so lots of people enjoying this holiday season. So I thought we'd bring you some really nice positive stories that will make you really happy. Now, one of the things that's
This is the Christmas show.
It is the Christmas show. Yeah, technically it is, yeah. And then next week will be the New Year's Eve show. Yes, it will.
So no soapbox items today. We got to go Christmas positive.
Well, one of them is... No, I'm not doing any soapbox today. I don't think I am. No, I could. Oh, I could. But I'm not going to. First thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you saw the video, Jim. The organisation Borrow My Doggy and Save the Children broke a record this week in London at the Battersea Park. There's the Battersea Dogs Home there as well. And 300 dogs put on their Christmas jumpers, which is, when you translate it... Sweaters, yeah. Christmas themed, to break a record with a walk in Battersea Park, 300 dogs.
Wow.
Now, I see that and I go, we might have to do a challenge. We might have to challenge London. I feel a bit conflicted, though. It's my country. But we have that competition with Manchester, don't we? Mm-hmm. With the Great Santa Run.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Las Vegas and Manchester
it's who's won this? Who won it?
I can't speak.
Who won it this year? Do you know?
I don't remember.
We'll have to find out. And basically, it's a Santa run. Everybody dresses up. They even bring their dogs, and it's a fun run, basically. And they have to see how many people participate. And it's a Guinness World Record, isn't it?
The Guinness people are there.
Yes.
I think people are there just for Guinness
as well.
probably.
The Brits that live here. I'm thinking we could do something similar. Don't you, Jim? Wouldn't that be hilarious? I'm going to put that on my...
That's a good idea. I'll let you run with it.
Well, I knew you would say that. So I'm going to write this on my list right now. What would we call it?
Oh boy, a lot of cliche names have already been taken.
I know they have. You know, some of these play on words are very, very good. Some of them are ridiculous because they don't work. Don't try and force to make. Yeah, the one I'm not a big fan of. I'll tell you. The one I'm not a big fan of is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, what a gorgeous dog. Oh, what a gorgeous dog. No, that one doesn't work. Doesn't flow. It needs to flow. Yeah, we'll come up with something. But I think it would be a great fundraiser, actually, and that's what the Santa run is all about here. It's $100 actually to enter that, and you get your Santa costume. There's a lot of people, a lot of money raised.
Live entertainment throughout.
Live entertainment. I think would be amazing to do that for animal charities, don't you think?
It would be cool.
So that's on my list for 2018. There you go. Just got some other good news. I've really enjoyed, I will say, I've really enjoyed everybody posting pictures of their pets celebrating the holidays, whether they are Jewish or Christian or none of those. They just love to dress up. And the pictures have been really, really fun, really, really sweet. And one of them was a cat called Cayenne. She's a ginger cat. Anyway, Cayenne's quite funny because she's got these incredible poses with the front legs. Hilarious, this cat. So I said, I just feel like your cat needs an Instagram account. If you do one, let me know. Well, anyway, I got the news this morning that Cayenne the ginger cat now has her own Instagram account. And you spell her name Kaiann, the ginger cat. You will find Cayenne on Instagram now. She just had this funny pose on this shelf, yeah? Draped on this shelf. I just think it's really, really fun. So that's something fun that came out of that. Here's some other great news. We are going to be streaming our show 24 hours a day.
When?
That doesn't mean we're going to be in studio. Someone else said that to me too. What, you're not going to sleep? No, we're going to be streaming the shows that have already aired. We'll be streaming live 24 hours a day, and then we go live ourselves on Saturdays. So that's what we normally do.
Saturdays, U.S. Pacific Time.
6 p.m. GMT.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in England. We have a lot of listeners, so that's why we mentioned that in England. So we will be streaming 24 hours a day. I think what we'll do this week, leading up to the New Year's Eve show, I think we're going to stream every single show that we've done this year. That's 52 shows.
It's a lot of computing power.
Yeah. We have done 52 shows this year. And as I looking back, we've covered so much. And there's always comments after every single show. I didn't know that. Thank you for that information. I really appreciate it. Oh, I've now started following this charity. I've adopted this charity as my charity. Thank you for the information on nutrition. We've changed the food. Our dogs are doing so much better. All those things are great. And looking back, we've put out so much information. It's absolutely amazing. Well, I do have some good news as well here. And that is, Jim, that Nepal's last known dancing bears have been rescued. And this news came out of Nat Geo. And they're called dancing sloth bears, and they've been performing for over a decade. And their life was filled with abuse, being beaten into absolute submission so that they will perform. And the names of these two bears that have been rescued are Rangila and Sridevi. They were forced to dance in front of crowds of people. They would put these bears outside of restaurants. You know, people going in and out. I mean, it would kill me to see that. It would absolutely kill me to see that. My sister, she travels a lot to Thailand, and she travels a lot to India. And she said that's the one thing that she had a really, really hard time with. She's a big animal lover as well. And just said, you know, it's just heartbreaking the way they treat animals.
Well, we've one at a time gone after all our friends and acquaintances who go on vacations and take those pictures with wildlife.
Yeah. So there's a big campaign.
They don't know till they know, and when they know, usually they turn around.
Oh, they do, and
except for the few select.
Yeah, we messaged them privately and say, "Hey, I don't know if you know about this, but if you did, I think you'd be mortified. But that elephant that you had a ride on, this is what happens to them in order for them to for you to ride on their back." And they are mortified, and they do take the posts down, and they don't do it again. And it's great. And it's great to see that consciousness. It's great to see the travel companies now not offering those what we call animals in tourism attractions. It's great. The movement's fantastic. And there's been a move on Instagram with a hashtag. Now, if a certain hashtag comes up, like selfie with a lion or selfie with a elephant or elephant ride, they are flagged on Instagram and taken down. They are flagged. Good. So it's a great move. Who would have thought a hashtag would have had so much power? But it really does. And so it's great to see this movement and this big change. As you know, from a couple of weeks ago, we interviewed. Her name just came out. Havasu pie horses. Save the Havasu pie horses. Sue. There you go, Sue. And Havasu. There you go. That's an easy way to remember it. And Sue's making some big strides with raising awareness about pack animals being used for the Grand Canyon, with the level of abuse that's going on, and has been for decades, and that's really horrible and horrific. But she's making big strides. They're reaching out to travel writers, they're reaching out to travel agencies, and saying, please don't offer this. There is one though, isn't there? One outfitter that's very good to their animals.
The official Grand Canyon contractor.
They are good to their animals.
Not the Indian tribe, but the official national park.
So here's the thing. In all honesty, though, pack yourself in and pack yourself out. That's part of the adventure. Or if you don't want to do that, avoid using the animals. A helicopter in and a helicopter out. That's an experience in itself. Lots of people have done it that we know, and they absolutely have enjoyed themselves. So that's what we're encouraging. So Sue's doing this. She's doing great work. Here's the interesting thing, which I think people will find kind of mind-blowing. They're not a 501c3, but they're not asking for money anyway. And she's creating this awareness through social media. It's impressive. It's so impressive. I was so glad to have her on the show, and she also got featured in a documentary about horses, and it was a great thing. It's this year. This is gonna be a good year for her. 2018 is going to be. Oh, that reminds me. I have to do my predictions for next year. I was right for this year. I'll tell you something. I was totally right. Let me tell you about my prediction. Well, my main prediction last year was that 2017 would be the year of nutrition, where pet parents will learn so much more about nutrition. It'll be uncovered how commercial pet food is made. There'll be a big transition to partial raw and raw diets, or dehydrated, moving away from kibble. And that's exactly what happened. Big thanks to Cole Harrington, the producer of Petfold, the documentary, and it's still available on Netflix. So if you don't know much about nutrition, and a lot of people ask me about that, I said, well, the first thing I want you to do, just go over and watch Petfold on Netflix. That's going to give you an idea of what you're currently feeding, and it's a great basis, and it's very knowledgeable, and it's very, very helpful. And then I say, now you need to go over to Rodney Habib, and Dr. Karen Becker, and Kimberly Gauthier of Keep the Tail Wagging, and start following these people.
Follow the vets that are on the leading edge.
Absolutely, and these are the people.
They're not always your vet.
That's right. Yeah, these are the people in our circle. And remember, you need to be an advocate for your pet. So always speak up and never be scared to ask questions. And if you do have a vet that doesn't like you asking questions, then you probably should change your vet. You want someone who's going to work with you and be a very big part of your pet's lives, and appreciate the fact that you're interested in doing the best you can, and certainly be open for a conversation. Now, we went down this whole path. Let me come back to the bears, because we're talking about animals used in tourism. So yeah, as I say, if I walked into a restaurant in Nepal and there was a bear out there, I would lose my tiny mind. I would do anything to get that bear away from them. It's hard to believe it's still going on, but it is still going on. Anyway, these bears are forced to dance in front of crowds. Now, Neil de Cruz, he witnessed the rescue of these two bears. He's the one that took the photos of the bears for the news article with Nat Geo. And he said the bears had 3 owners, and they went through a range of emotions as they sat at the police station. He said they went from shock, denial, anger, fear, tears, and eventually to cooperation. Both Rangila and Sridevi had their teeth removed, and that's a very, very common practice, but they still had their claws. Not only were they physically abused, but they were also nutritionally abused. And what I mean by that is that in the wild, these sloth bears, they eat termites, and these bears have just been surviving on a diet of rice and milk. So they've not been getting a species-appropriate diet, which is a big word this year as well. Species-appropriate. What is appropriate for your pets? What do cats eat? What do dogs eat naturally? And it's as I say, it's been someone's shaking it off there, Mr. Twix. It's been a big topic this year. The photo of the bears in the police station shows Sridevi with a rope running through the holes of the snout. Yeah, and that's what they do. So when they're about 8 months old, the handlers pierce the skin and the cartilage in their muzzle with a hot iron rod.
Horrible.
I know.
What the heck?
I know. Then a chain or a rope is snaked through, and it allows the handlers to control the bears. Well, yeah, if you pull someone by their nose, they're going to follow along.
I think my kindergarten teacher did that to us.
Really? Pulled you by your nose?
She pulled us by our ears.
That's not nice.
Everybody marched in line around
I
her.
bet they did.
Old Miss Shoot Talk.
Oh, there's nothing worse than being frightened of teachers. That's really sad. Anyway, finally, the long-time cruel tradition of bear dancing is finally coming to an end in Nepal. And it was a joint effort with the Nepalese police of law enforcement and the help of Jane Goodall. She, as you know, Jane Goodall is British.
Poetry.
That's right. But it's the Jane Goodall Institute in Nepal. That went into Star Wars.
Well, you did Star Wars. I didn't.
And there's a London-based non-profit, which is World Animal Protection. I think lots of people know about them. And they recently removed those 2 sloth bears. Now, the owners, Mohammed Salman and Mohammed Momtaz, they're members of a semi-nomadic community.
They sometimes are nomads?
Sometimes, no.
Semi-nomads?
I know, isn't that strange? That's interesting. Where was it going? I've missed
like
this.
Semi-city dweller.
And it's part of a community that traditionally made a living off these street-performing animals. And Neil Tagru said being there in person to help rescue the last known dancing bears in Nepal was surreal. He's also the global wildlife advisor for the World Animal Protection, as well as taking those photos. And he said he knows that Rangila and Sridevi were suffering in captivity since they were poached from the wild and their muzzles were pierced with hot iron rods. Training bears of various species to dance for a paying audience, it was a very popular Middle Ages thing throughout Europe and Asia, and it remained common in Eastern Europe, which I think a lot of us know about that, and Asia until the late 20th century, according to the World Animal Protection. Due to concerted efforts, though, by animal welfare groups to rescue the bears and help their owners transition to new livelihoods, the practice has slowly been coming to an end. You did see the video of that bear. Remember, it was sucking on its paw.
Yeah, terrible.
It was really
sad.
Awful. But countries...
It's like psychosis.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. They suffer this physical, this emotional, this psychological, and this nutritional abuse. It's all just ripped away from them being a natural, normal bear, just doing bear things. They strip that completely from them. Countries including Albania, Bulgaria, Greece, India, Serbia, Turkey, and now Nepal are believed to no longer have dancing bears, but the practice still continues in Pakistan. And the sad reality is said Manjo Gautam, he's the executive director of the Jane Goodall Institute. He said the sad reality is there are more wild animals suffering across the world just to entertain people. However, for these 2 sloth bears at least, a happy ending is finally in sight. You know what? It starts with one. You have to take the small steps, appreciate every little step, and it always improves. Other organisations most certainly applauded the rescue. We certainly do here on the radio show. The importance of this recent rescue, along with almost every bear rescue in 2017, is that these cruel animal practices, hidden behind the curtain of culture, really like that line, hidden behind the curtain of culture, are no longer accepted in a contemporary society, said Claire LaFrance, head of communications for the nonprofit Four Paws US, which itself has helped end bear dancing in several countries like India, Nepal and Vietnam, and they continuously strive for modernity and to be taken seriously on a global scale. And they must end these backwards practices that exploit animals for profit. I really like that line, though, hidden behind the curtain of culture. I lived in Spain for a long time, and bullfighting, yeah, part of their culture, and the cruelty was hidden behind that, and slowly but surely, it's all going to start going away, which is great. Performing bears in Nepal are often approached. They're often poached from the wild and sold on the black market, and in many cases taken as cubs. Their mothers are killed for the medicinal bile in their gallbladders, which is another horrific thing.
Which is really not medicinal.
Well, that's the thing, you see. You get so many of these belief systems that have been around forever and a day, and then it becomes the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder, do people really question it? Does it really work? But even if it did work, it's no reason to actually torture these bears for that. It's really, really, really bad. And so basically they're killed for the medicinal bile in their gallbladders or for their paws, which are served in expensive soups. Or as traditional medicine. Anyway, De Cruz and Gautam have been following these bears and their owners for more than a year, but they had to wait for the right time in order to mount this rescue. The plan was to approach the owners, convince them to give up the bears. But when they arrived, the bears' last known location in this very remote border town, they weren't there. They couldn't find them.
The bears or the owners?
They couldn't find the bears or the owners.
Oh.
In the end, they said they got lucky. A high-tech team of police on the ground were able to trace the phone numbers of the bear owners. The police confiscated the bears in the town of Labari in southeastern Nepal and apprehended 4 people, bringing them all to the district station. There were no fines or arrests. This is the bit I like, and I'll tell you why. There were no fines or arrests for those involved, but the bears' owners were given a stern warning. And Gautam got to witness the apprehension and the whole aftermath of it. The bears were traumatized, but they said in decent health, given the fact that they'd only been eating milk and rice for years. And he says you could clearly see the stereotypic behavior, their psychological trauma. They were sucking their paws, jumping up and down on benches. Their teeth had been removed. As we said earlier, it's common anyway, and their claws were still intact. And now the bears are waiting transfer to a sanctuary, likely in India. And in the meantime, they're living at a national park in Nepal where 2 of the former owners have been hired to help care for them temporarily. This is interesting. Part of ending bear dancing is providing economic opportunities for the people who run the circuses, which is why the 2 men were given these temporary jobs. If that's been their source of income and that's all they know how to do, it would be very easy for them to go right back into that same industry, even if they took the bears away. Think about it. So what they've done is given them new skills, given them a job. Mm-hmm. So they can still make a living, which is good. And the former owners do understand there wasn't much longevity left to this profession. And according to Gautam, the men also signed legal documents that say if they're ever found with a bear, the punishment will be much, much harsher. So I do think you have to have that in place. If you're going to, remove how they made a living and to try and prevent them from doing it again, then I think that's a great thing. And they got to, look after those bears the right way. So I do like that part of it. It's a little bit like, well, unfortunately, we had our pet sale ban repealed. But the part of that was that the pet stores had 2 years to go to the rescue model. So again, it wasn't about, people want to just put you out of business. They're saying, animals still need to be saved. You can use your business as the rescue model and, replace that in a more honorable way. But it never happened, unfortunately. Not to say that it's not going to be continue to be worked on, because it will. Animal welfare is important. It really is. And you've got to cut off that supply by awareness. And when people are aware of cruelty, they choose not to be a part of it most of the time, which means the demand disappears And then these archaic ways of making money and ways of exploiting animals for cash just start to dwindle. Okay, on that note, so that's great news, and I'm really happy that they're free. And we'll follow up and see where they end up going. They say possibly in India, but we will follow up on that. And when we come back after the break, we've got another great story. It starts off a little sad, but it ends up great. And I think you'll like this. And if you've listened to the show a lot, you will know exactly one of the organizations that we talk about in the next feature. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
At Carl's Jr., not only do we make you happy with our delicious charbroil burgers, we also make your dogs happy. Come through our drive-thru with your furry friends and we'll offer them a treat. We love to see their smiling faces. Our website, carlsjroflasvegas.com, has a treat in store for its customers too, with free coupons anytime, so visit us often. Carl's Jr. is a proud and active supporter of animal adoption in our community. You can find us at carlsjroflasvegas.com.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. I'm Sam. I'm your host. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs. And you can find us all over the internet, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. So make sure you find us. Right, so my next topic is street vets and the story of Andy and Bailey. Did you watch the video of Andy and Bailey in England? He's homeless and he's got his homeless dog Bailey with him.
Is that the guy with the pit bull that wore the blue vest?
Yes.
Yes.
Smart guy.
There's 2 videos now, isn't there?
There's 3. So here's the update. I first saw Andy and Bailey's dog on Channel 4 in the UK, and it was a very, very touching video. I mean, very touching. The way he expressed what his dog Bailey means to him, everybody could relate to, but could see the depth of that relationship when you are homeless and all you have is yourself, and you've got your pets with you. And it's not always dogs that are on the street; there are cats as well. And he's homeless, and the video expresses what his dog means to him. And he also explains how after a life of addiction that his dog has kept him clean. So his dog has saved his life. And he's a really smart guy and clearly so loving. And Bailey the dog, just adorable. Well, it caught everyone's attention. And, it's hard to watch it and not cry because we all relate to that bond, most definitely. And there was this follow-up interview. And I'm posting it. It's all going up on Facebook. All these links go up on Facebook for you. So there's a follow-up video. And the follow-up video is of his dog Bailey getting care on the streets by street vets.
Yeah, I saw that video. I thought that was only the second.
Do you remember street vets?
We had him on the show.
We had Dogs on the Streets of London on the show, but they teamed up with street vets. Yeah. And we talked about street vets when we interviewed, oh my gosh, what's her name? I'm having a name issue this week. It'll come to me. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. The founder of Dogs on the Streets of London. And they had teamed up with street vets so that these pets can get the care that they need. And what a relief to be able to have that available to you at no cost. Not just that, but Dogs on the Streets of London, I'll tell you what they do shortly. And so street vets, they had to create this whole new, it's never been done before, basically. So, they had to create some protocols and stuff in order to be able to be on the streets and treat animals. And this is directly off Street Vet's Facebook page. Homelessness is a growing problem in the UK, and an increasing number of homeless people have dogs. The bond between many homeless people and their dogs is profound, and the health and well-being of these dogs is very often a major priority for these owners. And we all know
we learned that here, that people on the streets with dogs will feed their dogs before they feed themselves.
They look after their dogs first. So they said, having seen the close bond between homeless people and their dogs firsthand, qualified vets Sam and Jade wanted to try and find a way to help out. And they started out with them going out with a stethoscope and some flea and worming treatments to give the dogs a check over and provide basic preventative health care. Despite many of the pets being Michelle Clark, she's the founder of Dogs on the Streets of London. It just came back to me. Despite many of the pets being very well looked after and in good health, there are a few that needed further treatment. With this in mind, Jade and Sam teamed up to create Street Vet, a veterinary-led initiative that allows vets in the UK to volunteer their time to prevent and treat disease in the pets of the homeless. And there's 200 of them. 200. So once they've done their day job, they volunteer at night time. And they've developed this framework to provide a free first opinion veterinary service for homeless people across London. And they have a constantly growing team of veterinary professionals and have the close support of many drug companies, veterinary practices, animal welfare charities, social non-profit organisations and local councils that enable them to develop the most comprehensive veterinary service possible for the homeless pet owners in London. Of course, they bring them into the clinics if they need anything more extensive as well. And that's where Dogs on the Streets of London come in, because one, it's very scary for someone, their pet is their only friend, and their friend has to go and get something medical done, and they don't want to be apart from them. They don't want to be apart.
Well, he said there's a trust issue.
There's a trust issue, absolutely. And there is a lot of theft of animals on the streets, and that's scary in itself. And then what happens, for example, they need to have some rest and relaxation after their surgeries or whatever. I know Michelle takes them home with her. And that's an incredible trust that these people have, particularly with Dogs on the Streets of London and street vets. It's unbelievable, really. So they're out in the community at least 3 days a week, and everything can be done in a consultation room. They perform it on the street. And this includes medicating, vaccinating, blood sampling, urine analysis, lump sampling, microchipping and more. And when they meet a dog that needs more advanced treatment, they're able to take them to the practice that they work at to perform these procedures. And of course, that's your dental, your neutering, those kind of things, even hydrotherapy. Because I do see that a lot of the dogs, because obviously I follow Dogs on the Streets of London, having followed the work of Michelle and this amazing team, a lot of them do have arthritis. And so that hydrotherapy is a great treatment for that and for mobility, and, have they had injuries or surgeries and stuff. Being vets, we love animals, they said, but much of our day-to-day work involves caring for their owners as well. Many of the owners that we meet are vulnerable people, and one of the main benefits of having vets on the streets is that we get to know the owners and the dogs and gain their trust, like we talked about earlier. Through effective communication and consistency, we've been able to check and treat over 70 dogs across London, and in time, we hope to be able to extend this service to many more across the country. We talked about this with Michelle Clark. She would love to have a Dogs on the Streets of Sheffield, my hometown, a Dogs on the Streets of Glasgow, a Dogs on the Streets, and I see that exactly being, the direction that they go in. Their acronym is DOTS, yeah, and I always say, it's connecting the dots. You have them in all the different cities, and they're all connected. And she met a couple from Seattle while she was in London who said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And she explained, because they have these stations in London where the homeless know where to go, what day, what time. They can pick up food, treats, the vet's there, the groomer's there. It's a little social thing too. They can get them some human services as well. And this couple were just so taken aback. They said, "We'd love to start something like this in Seattle." And so I expect to see that when we have something very similar going on here in Vegas. So let me tell you what happened next. So Andy was interviewed, and then they showed this other video of Bailey getting checked out and everything for street vets. And as a result of those two interviews, they ended up being brought on TV as a feature where Andy's dog Bailey were there, and they were invited to talk about the homeless problem. And his biggest thing was respect. We're human beings. please show us some respect. We're just like everybody else. And I thought that was very, very powerful. Now, if you would like to help, if you've seen the video, because a lot of people said to me, oh my gosh, Sam, I want to help this guy. How do I help this guy and this dog? And so I've tracked everything down. I am going to speak with Michelle, because I can guarantee you he's probably one of her clients. They're probably her clients. She calls them clients, and I think that's very respectful. I can guarantee you they're the clients, but I know lots of people were reaching out to street vets and say, please tell Andy and Bailey we love them. How can we help them? What a great interview that they did. So if you're in England, you can donate to DOTS, which is Dogs on the Streets of London. Street Vets, it's all volunteer. I don't know if it's an actual charity. It might be. We will find out for you. And if you are local here in Vegas, you can donate to Street Dogs and Street Cats. I work with them very closely in supplying them with food and blankets and anything else they may need. And that way you're not just helping the animals, you're also helping the homeless pet parent too, because to have that taken off your shoulders, that stress is just a great, relief. Really, really is. I commend the work that they've done. It's beautiful, and I just see that growing. And I think that's going to be a big thing this year. This is another one of my predictions this year. That's going to be, I think, helping homeless animals on the streets. It's a whole other level, isn't it? It's just a whole other level.
Helping homeless people in general is a global thing.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big thing this year. And in turn, if you help people, you help the pets. If you help pets, you help the people who are on the street.
Might be one of the keys to, the big problem the world has is these, people that are mentally ill, that have
yes,
no place to get help and to get, assimilated to society. And they're the ones that, we find out, though, this guy ran into a crowd of people and he was mentally ill. And, well, maybe the dogs and the homeless people are part of the solution
in what way?
Of kind of bringing again to the forefront, things like mental illness and homelessness.
Because I think people just assume that people on the streets are either drunks or drug addicts. Many people on the streets are there because of mental illness.
Remember my friend Eddie?
Yeah, I talked about Eddie last week.
He said he goes, yeah, I'm just a hobo.
Yeah, I remember.
I like gambling.
Yeah,
I like drinking.
We had a homeless friend, didn't we, for many years, and then and he was old. And we haven't seen him in such a long time, have we, Jim?
No.
And I mean, he would travel, though. He would get out of town. Where did he end up that one time? Because he used our address to get his, was it Social Security?
Well, we got his, he
had to have an address.
Direct deposit for his Social Security
So
check.
his mail would come to our house because, of course, he didn't have a home. And we got some bill from some hospital. Was it?
In California somewhere.
Somewhere. Like, I guess he's out of town, and he'd fallen, hadn't he? So that's how sometimes we would figure out where he'd been. We haven't seen him in many, many years, and we just hope he is still out there. I don't know where we would even look for him, because he used to get around, didn't he, in town?
He did.
Airport, downtown, those kind of things. But we did help him, and it was around about Christmas. We finally got him some help from the veterans, didn't we? And that was a relief. That made our Christmas. I said, "Oh gosh, we don't need presents, for goodness sake, we really don't." But yeah, I think that's going to be this one video in itself has made a massive impact. Massive impact. And I'm very, very happy about that, and I think that will continue. My next thing is, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I said, I'm making poor shaped wreaths as gifts for friends. Well, the tutorial is up on the blog. It's been up about a week. So hop on over to therockandrolldog.com, because still got time to make presents. And it's with those vine wreaths, and they're adorable, and they look like a big giant paw, and they're great for gifts. I did a Hanukkah one for the rabbi's wife. And I did
think this will make you go viral.
I don't know. I did Christmas
ones. The wreath
ones.
lady of Henderson.
And you can do any theme. You could do Valentine's. You could do your seasons, and it's just a nice gift to give someone who loves animals. Right. So here's this. I'm gonna watch your face when I say this. Yeah.
You want to watch my face after we take another break?
Oh, let's do that right now then, because this is a big topic. It's a very big topic. Yeah, let's take a quick break. And on the other side, we're going to talk about insects. We'll be right back.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome to Barking Dog Self-Wash and Grooming, your one-stop shop for all your pet's needs. We offer premium natural pet foods, full-service grooming, and an on-site bakery and boutique. You can choose to self-wash your dog or schedule a luxury pampering with our professional groomers. Visit our Cool Cat section offering feline food, toys, bedding, and litter, while the adventurous dog department has everything you need for your outdoor activities. And don't forget Cody's Healing Garden, featuring flower, aromatherapy, and herbal remedies for pets. Find us at www.barkingdogslv.com, and we look forward to seeing you in our neighborhood.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hi everyone, I sounded like a little robot just before the break.
Yeah, we had some computer issues.
You're listening to
Right
Vegas
before
Rock.
you mentioned the bugs.
Right. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. If you're just tuning in, and we're going to talk about a facility that's going to make insect-based novel pet food ingredients.
That would be good. I'm a fan of insect
I've never
as a food source.
I've never seen you eat an insect.
No, but I know about it quite a bit, and I know it's a global phenomenon, and I know that it's one of the most untapped protein sources for consumption in the world.
For who?
Humans and animals.
How beneficial is the protein?
Very. It's very. I saw about the fried grasshoppers and the chocolate covered grasshoppers and the beetles and beetle protein powder.
Oh my god! I actually did start seeing cricket flour.
I think we'll be
promoted it super soon.
I think we'll see humans embracing that soon.
Not you or me, because we don't eat animals.
Okay.
Or insects.
Okay.
Maybe if you're on your bicycle, you might swallow a fly or two, but that's not by
They go
choice.
in your eye.
That's not by choice. Well, here's a joint venture. I have a lot more reading to do into this, but this was a press release that was put out. A joint venture between a bioengineering firm and a pet food ingredient maker will focus on black soldier fly larvae, an insect which can be served as a novel pet food ingredient among other uses. Amongst. That's what it should be. Amongst other uses. I've never even heard of the black soldier fly, have you?
No, where's it come from?
I don't know. We're going to find out. Hang on. Intrexon Corporation, which works in the engineering and industrialization of biology, and Darling Ingredients, Inc., a developer and producer of sustainable natural ingredients from bionutrients, formed this partnership. The joint venture is called EnviroFlight, plans to significantly expand production of ingredients for sustainable feed and nutrition derived from black soldier flies. The facility will be the largest commercial-scale BSF larvae production facility in the United States, according to the EnviroFlight press release. So plans for this novel pet food ingredient facility, they plan to basically build it the first quarter of 2018, and it's targeted towards supplying livestock, agriculture, and pet food markets. But let's go back to species-appropriate diets. Do dogs eat flies?
Well, this might be good for snakes, lizards, birds.
It's got to be species-appropriate, hasn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not good for them.
Monkeys eat flies, don't they?
They always look like they're eating fleas and stuff like that off each other. So that's what I'm reading here. Supplying livestock, agriculture, and pet food markets. Dogs don't eat flies. Cats don't eat flies.
What's agriculture?
Agriculture's got to be
Is that hatcheries?
Fish.
Aquaculture. Or agriculture. What did you call it?
Aqua. It's the same, whether you want to think about it in English or Spanish. They said, leveraging more than 8 years of applied research and development, the new facility will employ our industrial BSF platform and opens the door to a sustainable source of high-quality nutrients for the aquaculture, livestock, and specialty pet feed industries.
Well, fish eat flies. Most certainly.
Right. Now, this was Glenn Courtwright who said this. He's the president and founder of EnviroFlight. This new facility will allow us to produce BSF at commercial volume and sets the foundation for potential future global expansion, said Randall Stewie. Stewie. He's the chairman and chief executive officer of Darling Ingredients. Sustainable benefits of black soldier fly larvae. Now, here's the thing. You know me, Jim. The research, you know me. It's all well and good them saying what the benefits are, but you can't just take the word of a manufacturer, because as many people know or don't know, there's no truth in advertising for pet products, and that includes food. And they make claims, and they can actually copyright their own, their own trademark, their own like
nutritional claims.
Yeah, buzzwords, or words they've made up, that they've created. And lots and lots of pet food companies do that.
High fly protein.
Yeah, exactly. It could
fly high protein.
It could be.
Yum yum.
So this is, I said, this is their press release, and it said its insect-based approach offers potential to convert nutrients from food surpluses and renewable energy co-products into valuable proteins, oils, and fertilizers. Accordingly, from an ecological perspective, it also allows for decreasing dependence on other protein sources for animal feed. Within the fish and poultry markets, BSF larvae also represent a more typical diet for these natural insectivores. Hang on a minute here. I'm writing notes here. We'll find out what the insectivores actually are, because I have a feeling they don't fall into that category.
Sounds like a movie.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
Night of the Insectivores.
This is as compared to soy and other plant-based meals, making them an ideal candidate for Nutri-Feed ingredients. I'm always like, says who? Says what research? So this is just a little... This is the tip of me going down the path of research for this one, and I'm going to be reaching out to various experts in the field of nutrition on this one. EnviroFlight's proprietary technologies for high-quality insect protein production can help meet the growing demand for sustainable, eco-friendly, protein-rich ingredients, particularly in aquaculture, where fish meal is largely reliant on wild-caught fish. Insects still under scrutiny as a pet food ingredient. As I say, I saw the cricket flower this year at Super Zoo, and most people's reaction was like, going past their booth. The Association of American Feed Control Officials, AFCO, in January, they said the Ingredient Definitions Committee deliberated on the use of insect ingredients in pet food and other products. And that was reported by David Dezanis. He's a DVM, PhD, CEO of Regulatory Discretion for Pet Food Industry. Let's, we're going to look into his name. Hang on, I'm writing a little note here. Dezanis. Oh, there's lots to look at on this one. The committee indicated that the new AFCO definitions for each insect type of ingredient will be flour, meal, protein, concentrate. An intended species would be to establish the first for the insect ingredients to be considered acceptable. So this is where you have to be very careful when it comes to reading those labels. Remember how people would read byproduct? They would read, what was it? Animal digestive, when people thought that was a supplement, didn't they?
So you're going to want to only have flour that's whole, free range black soldier fly.
Only if it actually is beneficial to pets, which I don't think it's going to be from what we know about a species-appropriate diet. That's very, very interesting. To date, only one insect, black soldier fly larvae, has been defined, and that is limited to use in salmonid feeds. What's a salmonid feed, Jim? Do Do you have the ability to search anything?
I do not.
Okay, that's okay. Isn't it interesting? You can read a press release and then go, oh, wow, we need to look at lots of different things that's included in this press release. So what I'm going to do is I'll be reaching out to Rodney Habib. He's one of the top pet nutritionists in the world. I'll be reaching out to, what's his name? Cole Harrington from Pet Food, since he has a lot of knowledge on AFCO, and we'll look up how do they produce these flies.
Free range.
Some interesting free range. Some interesting
Cage free.
Yeah. Very interesting. And I think the most concerning thing is how, if it does get approved, what will it be called on an ingredient list, so that people can be familiar with it and choose to either feed it or not feed it. Lots and lots of stuff to look into on this one. Lots of stuff to look into. Wow, it's crazy. Who would have thought ever that we were going to put flies into food if they get it approved? By the way,
waiter, what's this fly doing in my soup? Looks like the backstroke. That's an old joke.
I know it is. So we'll follow up on that one. We'll do a lot after getting this press release in my email inbox. We will do a little bit of digging around, and we'll find out what's going on there. Well, the last thing I'm going to close the show out with is a memory that came up on Facebook for me this week. That was when I was featured in a Hallmark Channel commercial, and it was called Jingle and Bell. And what this was is they were selling these two cute, cuddly toys, Jingle and Bell, and the sale of them was going to fund 2,000 adoptions with Best Friends, which is not far from us, up in Kanab, Utah. And the interesting story about this whole thing was literally that day on the radio show, I said to Jim, I love Hallmark movies. I want to be in a cheesy Christmas movie about animals on Hallmark.
And a prince.
And then I got information to submit some audio and some video for this commercial. So although not a movie, it's like a mini movie, it's funny how that all came about. It was Hallmark. It was about animals. It was about rescue animals. And it was about Christmas. Hello. There's nothing more perfect than that. So I've put the link up, as well as everything that we've ever talked about in the show today, up on Facebook, so that you can just find those links quite easily. So that was a great memory, and I'd love to do it again. I would love to do it again, but a really, really fun memory. I was really glad to be a part of it. All the things that I love: Christmas, Hallmark, animals, and Best Friends. Hello. Well, on that note, we are done. Da, 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 da. Remember, if you've liked the show and you're listening to the show on your smartphone or your computer, it's really easy to share the show with your friends. Tell everyone about us. Oh, what happened to my mic?
We had a power surge.
Oh, that was so weird.
We're back to normal.
Whoa.
Everything's better.
That was so strange. Yeah, you can share the show quite easily through your smartphone, through your laptop, your iPad, blah, 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 blah. And remember, you can help an animal in need, either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share their information. Rescue your next family member and replace the word shop with adopt. And be kind to all animals. Thank you, Jim, for pushing the buttons with your 9 fingers, because the broken finger is still not healed.
It's on its way.
Take a moment to go and like our Facebook page. Post the pictures of your pets, because you know we love to see their cute faces. And today you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeart Radio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our host as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.